So we are at 9:30. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in Montgomery, Alabama. I am Rabbi Scott Kramer. Hold on one second. We are praying out of Sidor Lev Shalem, and we will begin page 103 with the Birchot HaShachar, the blessings of the morning. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasech v'veina lavkin ben yom u'ben la'ela. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesani b'tzomah. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesani ben chorin. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shesani Yisrael. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Mabi Sharamim. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Matir Asurim. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Zokef Kefufim. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Rokal Haaretz al Hamayim. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamechin Mitzadei Gaver. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shasali Kol Tzarki. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Oz Yisrael B'Gvura. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Ot Yisrael B'Tifara. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hanotein Layoev Kahoach. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Ha'ma'avir Shnei Menai. Uteneinu hayom v'chol yom l'chin l'chesed harachem mi'benecha v'necho en v'digmalenu chasadim tovim. Baruch et Adonai gomer chasadim tovim le'amo Yisrael. You may be seated. We continue page 112 with Psalm 92. Hayom yom Shabbat Kodesh hayom omrim b'veit hamikdash mizmor shir le'yom haShabbat. Odinuvun b'seva deshenim chanim yu lagit kishanat surivalo avlatabo. Page 120, Psalm 30. Mizmor shir Chanukat b'ile David. Hafachtem ispedi l'mochali pitak tisaki v'ascheni simcha laman yezamecha v'lo yidom Adonai Elohai le'olam odeka. We rise, page 122, for Baruch She'amar. Yai lai 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 lai, ya la lai la lai la lai, yai la lai lai lai, ya la lai la lai la la lai, yai lai la 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 lai. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch she'amar v'haya olam. Baruch Hu, Baruch Hoseh v'Reishit, Baruch Omer v'Yoseh, Baruch Gozer Umkayem, Baruch Merachim ala Aretz, Baruch Merachim ala Habriot, Baruch Mishalem Sachar Tov l'Reyav, Baruch Hailad v'Kayam lanetzach. Baruch Podeo Matzio, Baruch Shemo. Yai lai lai la la, ya la 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 la, yai la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Yai lai 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 Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hoel v'rachem hamahula b'fi amo mishbach U'mafar b'shon chasidav Havadav v'shirei David avdecha Nehalelech Adonai Yachid chelmi melech mishbach v'dosh magado Baruch Adonai Melech mehulal batishpachot. You may be seated. Page 136. Hashrei yoshvei ve'eitecha od yalalu chasela. Shabbat Shalom, Sylvia and Lisa. Tehillat Adonai Deber Pivi Vorek B'Sar Shem Kachuli Lam Voed Banachni Nevarech Yam Yatavi Alolam. Hallelujah. Page 141, Psalm 150. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, b'kadsho, hallelujah, b'kiyauzo, hallelujah, v'gvurotav, hallelujah, karav, gudlo, hallelujah, 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 b'teka shofar, hallelujah, b'neve v'chinor, hallelujah, b'tof u'macho, hallelujah, b'minim v'yugav, hallelujah, 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 v'tziotz le'shama, hallelujah, v'tziotz le'trua, kol anshama tehalaya, hallelujah, 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 kol anshama tehalaya, hallelujah, kol hanshama tehalaya, hallelujah, hallelujah. Baruch Adonai le'olam amen v'amen. Baruch Emetzion Shchein Rushlem Hallelujah. Baruch Adonai Elohim Elohei Yisrael Sednef le'levado. Uvaruch Shem Kavodo Lilam v'yamelech v'et kol haaretz. Amen v'amen. Page 145. Nishmat kochai tivarech et shimecha hu Adonai Eloheinu. מידמה לך ומשווה לך ומהרוך לך אוהל הגדול גיבור והנורא אל עליון קונה שמיים וארץ נהלה לך ונשבחך ונפרח ונברך את שם הקודשך כאמור לדוד ברכי נפשי את אדוני בכל קרבי את שם הקודשו האר בתזמוזך הגדול בכבוד שמך הגיבור לנצח ונמנורותיך המלך היושב על כיסא רם ונישא שוכן עד מרום וקדוש שמו וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני לישרים נאווה תהילה בפי ישרים תתהלל ובדברי צדיקים תתברך ובלשון חסידים תדרומם ובקרב קדושים תתקדש ומקלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל להודות להלל לשבח לפלרמים להדל לברך להלל ולקלס על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות דוד בן ישי עבדך משיחך ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו ברכות והודות מיטב יד עולם ברוך את אדוני מלך גדול בתשבחות אל ההודות אדון הנפלאות הבוחר בשירי זמרה מלך חי העולמים. We rise, page 149, for the beginning of Shacharit, for the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam, Yotzer V'rech Oshech Oseh Shalom Avarei Et HaKol. You may be seated. Page 150. Hakol yoduch v'yakol yishabechucha. Ein kirchach Adonai Eloheinu b'olam hazeh v'yeina zulan malkeinu chayei olam haba. אפס ביותר לימות המשיח ויענדו מלך משיענו לתחיית המתים אל אדון על כל המעשים ברוך ומבורך בפי כל נשמה גדלו וטובו מלא עולם דעת ותבונה סובבים אותו עמית גואל על חיות הקודש ונדר בכבוד על המרכבה זכות ומישור לפני כיסו חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו טובים מאורות שברו אלוהינו יצרם בדעת בבינה ובשכל כוח וגבורה נתן בהם להיות מושלים בקרב תבל מלאים זיו ומפיקים נוגה נאה זיוום בכל העולם שמחים בצאתם בששים בבואם עושים בימה רצון קונם ביער וכבוד נותנים לשמו צלה ורינה לזכר מלכותו קרא לשמש ויזרח אור רע והקים צורת הלבנה שבח נותנים לו כל צבא מרום כל צבא מרום, תפארת וגדולה, שרפים ויופנים וחיות הקודש. Page 152. לא אלא ששבת מכל המסים ביום השביעית, עליו יסב על כיסא כבודו. תתברך מושיענו השבח מעשה ידיך ויום הרי שעשיתי יפרוך הסלע. Page 153. תתברך צורנו מלכנו וגואלנו ברי קדושים. וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה וטהרה בשורב זמרה, המברכים ומשבחים ומריצים ומכתישים וממליכים את שם מועל המלך הגדול, הגיבור והנורא הקדוש הוא. וכולם מקבלים עליהם מלכות שמיים זה מזה, ונודרים מרשות זה לזה, להקדיש לעצם מנחת רוח בשפה ורבנים הקדושה. כן ככה אומרים ביראה, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך על הארץ כבודו. ויופנים וחיות הקודש פרש כדו מנץ למצרפים למתם משבחים ואמרים ברוך ואדוני ממקומו לאל ברוך נמות ייתנו. אור חדש על ציון דעיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה להרוא. אור חדש על ציון דעיר ונזכה כולנו מהרה להרוא. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאוד. Page 154. Ava Rabba Avdanu Adonai Eloheinu Chemla Gedola V'Techa Chamalta Leinu Avinu Malkeinu Ba'avor Avoteinu Shabbat Chovecha Avinu Malkeinu V'Telamdein Chukei Chayim Kein techanenu tlamdeinu avinu ha'av harachaman amrachim rachim aleinu v'tein belibeinu lahavin ulaskil lishmoa lilmod ulelamed lishmor velasot ukayem et kol divrei Talmud Toratecha bi'ahava והננו בתורתך ודבק בליבנו במצוותיך ויחל לבבינו לאהבה וירא את שמך ולא נבוש לעולם ועד ולא נבוש לעולם ועד כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא בטחנו נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ ותוליכנו קוממיות לארצנו כי אל פה ישועתך ובנו בחרת מקום ולשון וכך Tadu l'shimcha gadose be'emet lahodo lecha u'yachedcha bi'ahava Baruch et Adonai Habocher b'yamo Yisrael bi'ahava Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecho v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ho'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinanatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uv'shachpecha v'kumecha Ukshartam liot al yadecha, v'hayu latotafot beinecha, uchtabtam nam zuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, v'hayim shamoa tishma'u el mitzvotah asher nachi mitzvotachem. Ayava et Adonai Elohechem lo tov. Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael v'yamarta lehem v'yasu lehem tzitzit al kanfei v'gnehem ladoratam v'natnu al tzitzit hakana patil techelep v'yalachem letzitzit oritem oto Utzartem et kol mitzvot Adonai va'asitem otam v'lo tatu racharei levavchem v'yacharei nechem asher tam zonim achareihem leman dizgaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeiti etechem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem Emet. Bottom page 156. Ledovedo kayam ushmo kayam v'chisonochon malchut tovim menato le'ahad kayamet. Udvarv. Emet shatahu Adonai Eloheinu ve'elvakteinu malkeinu melech avoteinu go'eleinu go'el avoteinu yotzrenetzu yushateinu padeinu matzileinu me'elam shemecha ein Elohim zulatecha ezrat avoteinu atahu me'olam. Ram v'nisa gadol v'nora mashpil gei magbi hashfalim motzi asirim for anavim v'yozed alim v'yon aliyamo b'yed shavam elav tilod le'elan yon brachum vrach Moshe u'Miriam u'v'nei Yisrael chanashira b'simcha rabah V'yameru chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedor ba'kodesh nora tehilot o seifele shira chadasha shibachu geulim Shimcha al safat hayam yachad kulam hodu ve'imlechu v'yameru Adonai yimloch Leolam Voed Tzur Yisrael Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael Uftechinu Mecha Yehuda v'Yisrael Go Aleinu Adonai Tzavaot Shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Ka'al Yisrael. We continue with the Shabbat morning Amidah, pages 159 through 156. We will chant the first three brachot out loud, and then you may continue with the final four brachot through 166. Again, we begin page 159. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah El Gadol Agibor v'Hanora Eletno Gomel Chasadim Dovim Lekonei Hakol V'zocher chastei avot, V'mei goel lefnei v'neihem, L'man shemo b'yava, Melech ozer fakir u'mashiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'faked Sarah, Atah gibor le'lam Adonai, Mechayem itimato Rab Hoshia, Mashiva ruach marid Hashem, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayem metim berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micham malcham bal givurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chayot metim Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hametim nikadesh et shimecha ba'olam kishem shabakti shimoto mishmei marom kagadu v'yad v'yecha v'chara zeh el zeh v'yamar Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzavaot, Melech ha'aretz kevodo. Az b'kol rash gadol, Adif v'chazak mashmim kol, Mitnasim l'matzarafim, Limatam Baruch Yomeru, Baruch Adonai Mimkomo. Mimakom Chamakinu Tofia V'timloch Aleinu Ki Mechakim Anachnu Lach V'tai Timloch B'tzion B'karov B'yameinu Lilam Voed Tishkahun Tikadal V'tikadash B'toch Yerushalayim Mirecha Ledor Vador Olenetzach Netzachim V'yeneinu Tirenna Malchutecha kadavar amor b'shishrei uzecha al yedei David Mashiach tzidkecha Yimloch Adonai le'lam Elohai yechzion levador vador Hallelujah Ledor vador nagid godlecha Olenetzach netzachim, Kedushak tenatish, V'shivachach mipino le'emush le'lam va'ed, Ki amel kadov v'kadosh atah baruch atah Adonai, Hoi lakadosh. Yismach Moshe b'matnat chelko ki. Shabbat Shalom once again. If you're finished, you may be seated. And it's so nice to see all those in person. And Diane and Jefferson, nice to see both of you. I hope everyone is having a nice Shabbat. We are just about ready to begin our virtual Torah service, which will begin on page 168. Switch the cams. When we get to the middle of the page and the ark is open, then you may rise. Again, we're going to begin on page 168. Ein kamocha va'elohim Adonai v'ein k'ma'asecha malchutecha malchut kol olamim umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch le'olam v'oed Adonai oz li'amo yitein Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom avarachamim eitiv avirtzoncha et Zion tivnech omod Yerushalayim tivnech omod Yerushalayim ki vecha levad batochnu melech Elam v'nisau Adon olamim. Please rise. Vayeven so Aharon vayomer Moshe Kuma Adonai v'yafotzu oyevecha v'yanusu misanecha v'hipanecha ki mitzion tetzei Torah ki mitzion tetzei Torah u'davar Adonai miYerushalayim Baruch shenatan Torah Torah Baruch shenatan Torah Torah Li'amo Yisrael B'kedusha Tov. Page 170. Barich Shemei Damai Almach Barich Yitrach Yatrach Yehevu Tach Im Imach Yisrael Alam. Bebe anarachet velishme kadisha kadisha yakira ana emartush bechan be anarachet velishme kadisha Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Ana Hemar Tushbechan, Yaira Vakadamach, Tetiftach Libi Beorayeta, Vitashlim Meshalim Libi, Veliba Dechol Amach Yisrael, Letavo Chaim Lishlam. Amen. Top of page 171. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo.
Tadlu Ladonai Dirachamim Shemo Yachdav Lecha Adonai v'hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod kicho b'shamayim u'va'aretz Ho b'shamayim u'va'aretz Lecho Adonai hamamlacha v'yamid na'aseh lecho lerosh romemu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Lahadam Raglav Kadoshu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Lahar Kadsho Lehar Kadsho Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. You may be seated. So I'm going to read a couple aliyot. I'm going to read one out of order, and actually it's also going to be from the first triennial. The Torah portion for this week is Vayishlach. It is an amazing text. It's so filled with passion, with anxiety. There's a point in the middle of this particular aliyah where you just don't know what the outcome's going to be. It could be reconciliation or it could be annihilation. And in one of the penultimate setups in the entire Torah, something interesting happens both between Jacob and his brother, and also in the text itself, which that's why I'm gonna read part of this out of order. So I'm gonna read the first aliyah. This is the portion is Vayishlach. We're going to read from Genesis 32, verse 4, which is on page 198 in your Etz Ahayem Chumash. And we'll see how many of these I do just to kind of set up so we can go to the interesting text. Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav el Esav achiv artza seir sededom. Vayitzav otam lemor kohotom marum ladoni le'esav. Ko amar avdecha Yaakov im Lavan garti v'echar ad ata v'yili shohor v'chamor tzon v'eved v'shivcha v'eshlecha lagihid laduni limtzochen be'enecha. And it starts out, and Jacob sent messengers ahead to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom, and instructed them as follows. Thus shall you say to my lord Esau, thus says your servant Jacob, I stayed with Laban and remained until now. I have acquired cattle, donkeys, sheep, and male and female slaves, and I send this messenger to my Lord in the hope of gaining your favor. So the setup is Jacob, of course, the ultimate deceiver, deceives his brother, Esau, who is his twin brother, but Esau came out first. So Esau gets the birthright, and Jacob on 2 occasions, one on his own, and one at the insistence of his mother, who was in on the ruse, out and out stole the birthright by deception and deceit, and Jacob had to flee. He had to flee. His brother Esau was so mad at him for deceiving him that he fled. Jacob had to flee. His mother told him, go to the city of my people. It's Rachel told Jacob to go to his mother. He's not married to her. His mother, Rebecca, tells him to go to his ancestral home, Abraham's ancestral home, and stay there until we call you. And then you can come back. So Jacob goes, and the whole time he's there, because of this this karma that comes up time and again in the Torah, we call it midah keneged midah, measure for measure. Okay, because Jacob deceives, he is deceived. He is deceived by his brother, by his nephew, cousin Laban, who tricks him into marrying his older daughter rather than the daughter he wants, and he winds up marrying them both. Time and again, Laban changes the wages on Jacob, and finally, after 21 years, he's had enough. Jacob now has four wives, 13 kids, 12 boys and 1 girl, and he decides it's time to go home and just face whatever he's going to face with his brother Esau. So here he is right on the border of the land of Canaan, and Jacob sends messengers ahead to his brother to kind of feel him out, to see if he's still mad at him, if he still intends to kill him. And he says, he calls him my Lord Esau, and he says, I am your servant, Jacob. He's really playing it up. But then he tells Esau of how wealthy he is. He's got cattle, donkeys, sheep, male and female slaves. And he wants to blind the eyes of Esau to his wealth. Second Aliyah, 32:7. Vayashuvu malachim el Yaakov lemor b'hanu el achicha el Esav v'gam olech likratecha v'arba me'ot ish imo. Vayira Yaakov me'od vayetzer lo vayachad et ha'am asher ito v'et hatzon v'et ha'bakar v'agamalim l'shnei machanot. Vahayomer im yavo Esav el machane achat v'ikahu v'ya machane nishar lifleita. The messengers returned to Jacob, saying, we came to your brother Esau by himself. He himself is coming to meet you. And there are 400 men with him. Yikes. Jacob was greatly frightened, and in his anxiety he divided the people with him and the flocks and herds and camels into 2 camps, thinking, if Esau comes to one camp and attacks it, the other one may yet escape. So the messengers go to feel out Esau to see if he's still mad. And what do you know, Esau is coming to greet him. And it doesn't seem peaceable because he's got 400 men. That's army-sized. Okay, if you remember when Abraham went to rescue his nephew Lot from 5 armies of 5 kings, Abraham had 318 men, and here's 400. And Esau isn't coming to face an army, he's coming to face Jacob and all his women and children. It's 400 against 1, 401 if you count Esau against 1. Not great odds. And I'm going to skip ahead, but basically Jacob, he now is going to divide his family into 2. He's got 2 wives and kids. He got another 2 wives and kids. He divides them, lest Esau finds one and attacks that one. The other one can get away. And true to form, Jacob again tries to deceive, and he inexplicably sends all of his wealth, all of his wives and children across the border, across the ford of Yabok, and then Jacob comes back over the ford, and he spends the night by himself. And he must be at wit's end. He doesn't know what's going to happen. He doesn't know what Esau's going to do. And in the evening, it doesn't say he fell asleep. It says a man found him and started wrestling with him. We don't know what that's about. We do know they wrestled till the morning. It's a long time to wrestle, I guess. And in the morning, the man wrenched Jacob's hip. And it says, interesting in the text, it says that when the sun rose, Jacob had a limp because of his wrenched hip. And it says, interestingly enough, on 32:33, that is why the children of Israel to this day do not eat the gid hanaseh, the thigh muscle that is on the socket of the hip, since Jacob's hip socket was wrenched at the thigh muscle. So what does this mean? So this is the sciatic nerve, apparently. And I know how painful that is. But we are not allowed to eat anything that has the sciatic nerve attached. And if you're wondering where that is on a cow, it's where the best meat is. It's on the back end of the cow. Okay? We are not allowed to eat from the back end of a cow unless the sciatic nerve is removed. This is a law of kashrut. Okay? Apparently this text is connecting it to this moment when Jacob's hip is wrenched. So there's a bit of Jewish law right there, which doesn't seem to make much sense, but yet that's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and read the beginning of chapter 33, because this is the moment at which Jacob meets up with his brother. Let's see, get it here. Here it is. Okay. Nope, that's not it. It's this one. There it is. Okay. So this actually starts 32:31, which is on page 202. Vayikra Yaakov Shem HaMakom Peniel Ki Ra'iti Elohim Panim El Panim V'tinatzeu Nafshi Vayizrach lo shemesh ka'asher va'aret Penuel, v'hu tzolea al yirecho. Al kein lo yochalu v'nei Yisrael et gid hanasheh. Asher al kaf hayarech ad hayom hazeh, ki hanaga b'chaf yerech Yaakov begid hanasheh. Vayisa Yaakov einav, vayarvin Esav ba ve'imo 400 ish. Vayachat et hayeladim aleh v'al Rachel v'al shtei hashvachot. Vayasem et hashvachot v'et yaldein rishonha v'et Leah v'ladea acharonim v'et Rachel v'et Yosef acharonim. Vehu avar lifneihem v'yishtachu arza sheva pamim al gishto ad achi vayarot Esav mikrato v'yichabetkehu v'yipol al savarav v'yishakehu v'yivkuhu v'yisa et einav v'yahar et anashim v'yet al yeladim Vayomer mi'elelach v'hayomar hayeladim asher chanan Elohim et avdecha. So Jacob named the place Peniel, meaning I have seen a divine being face to face, yet my life has been preserved. This is why he called, because he saw a divine face. He figured he was wrestling with a divine image. The sun rose upon him as he passed Penuel, limping on his hip. That is why the children of Israel to this day do not eat the thigh muscle, as what I said before. That is on the socket of the hip, since Jacob's hip socket was wrenched at the thigh muscle. And then we get to chapter 33. I love the imagery here. It says, Vayisa Yaakov Einav, and Jacob lift up his eyes, Vayar, and he saw. V'hine, and behold, Esav ba. Esav was coming. V'imo, arza me'ot ish, yachatz el yadim aleh, or Rachel, v'al shtei hashvachot. He excuse me. Jacob saw Esau coming, accompanied by 400 men. He divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maids, putting the maids and their children first. They're expendable, I guess. Leah and his children and her children next. And Rachel, his favorite wife, and Joseph last. He himself went on ahead and bowed low to the ground 7 times until he was near his brother. It says Esau ran to greet him. He embraced him, falling on his neck. It says Vayishakehu, and he kissed him, and they wept. Looking about, he saw the women and children. Who, he asked, are these with you? He answered, the children at whom God has favored your servant. So why this is so interesting is because if I was to take the Torah scroll and put it down, and we would look at this text in the Torah scroll, the thing you would notice is, well, first of all, there's only consonants in the text. There's no vowels. It's not that hard to read, actually. It's not like English. You can read Hebrew without the vowels fairly easily. There's some subtleties you don't get, but you can still read it. There are no footnotes, no table of contents, nothing. It's just text without commentary, but there are odd things about the text. There's sometimes we have big letters, bigger font than other letters, like the first word of the Torah, Bereshit. Okay, at the beginning, not in the beginning, but at the beginning. The bed is larger. The first word of the book of Leviticus, Vayikra, And Moses was called to God. And the Vayikra, the Aleph on the end of Vayikra, is smaller. Okay? We don't know why. Whoever transmitted the text of the Torah transmitted these oddities with it without commentary. And of course, they were the Masoretes from the 7th century, but we don't know. And that's where the rabbis come in. They have all the answers. Of course, some of them have the answers. Some other ones have the answers that contradict some of the answers. So we really don't know, but it is fascinating. We have one case where a letter is turned upside down and elongated. Okay, two of them. Two upside down inverted nuns. We have a case of a letter being cut in half. A vav of the word shalom is cut in half. And then we have these 10 words in the Torah that have little dots above them. They're not vowels. Again, we don't know what they are. Modern scholars believe that this is an editing technique meant to indicate that maybe there's a problem with the text and this word maybe shouldn't be there. Maybe it's like, in the next edition, we'll take this word out. So to flag it, in other words. And there's some evidence to that. Rashi doesn't have any of that. He does it a different way. Rather than eliminate the word, he says, maybe we shouldn't interpret it as if the word isn't there or something is wrong with the word. The word vayishakehu, if you look at it, has a dot above each letter. And it means that he kissed him. When Esau finally came together with his brother Jacob, we didn't know if Esau was going to kill him or not. He fell upon his neck and he kissed him. And they cried. Wow, what a touching moment. But Rashi said it was not sincere. The kiss was not sincere. Okay? Our classical commentators say there was something wrong with Esau. He's not a good person. And he didn't really kiss him. There's some great commentary. Some say that Esau, rather than kiss him, he bit him on the neck. And these dots represent the teeth marks. Or he went to bite him and Jacob's neck turned to iron, and Esau bit down and shattered his teeth, and these dots are Esau's shattered teeth. I mean, it's so interesting, you know. Oh, I also saw one commentary in Me'am Loez. I swear, God, I saw this. It's so interesting. It is the myth isn't mentioned by name, but it's unmistakable. That notice the angel that was wrestling with Jacob had to leave in the morning. Okay. We also have Esau biting down on the neck of Jacob. What does that remind you of? A vampire.
Yeah, oh.
So one of the commentators said that these are connected. I love the variety of the text, okay? But in any case, this is such a moment in the Torah that you don't know what's going to happen. Is Jacob going to be killed or hurt by Esau? And in fact, they do come together, and they walk together away. Maybe Esau invites Jacob to his home. We don't really see or hear about Esau anymore in the Torah until they come together to bury their father Isaac. And they do. They come together. Esau doesn't seem to be a really bad person. He reacted. He was a hunter, you know. All right, so he didn't study Torah. He was a hunter. He was a sportsman. And he didn't really care about his birthright. But, you know, it didn't matter to him. but it doesn't seem like he did any harm, except he saw the enmity of his parents and then tried and married a person that they didn't want him to married outside the family. And for that, the classical commentators, our ancient rabbis, have a lot to say about him that's wrong. So, but I just don't see it. I see him as being an okay character. And in the end, he's not cursed, So the text is so rich. And I love these times when we have oddities in the Torah. I point them out all the time. Rashi seems to like them too, because Rashi usually has a 1 or 2 word comment. On these kinds of things, he seems to run on and on in his commentary. And that's why it's so interesting. Okay, enough of that. I'm going to offer Mishaberach now for healing for those in and out of our community. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak V'Yaakov Sarv Charachav V'Leah Hu Yivarech V'Rapeh Et. Helen Byrne, Marjorie Allen, Charles Miller, Marsha Orange, Leon Kapwaner, Lynn Shaw, Burke Ben Elisheva, Abigail Greenberg, Kate Dooley, Jenny Meisler, Deanna Barber, Susie Bierman, Elizabeth Thumby, Elisheva Batsara, Art Sandak, Malka Amster, Betty Ehrlich, Michelle Zucker, Davina Machado, Stephen Hirschman, and Taraz Burt.
And Bo Shapar.
Any other names need to be added? Nitai David Ben Ari Menasseh, Bahar Banit, Ephraim Avraham Ben Esther Batya, Eliyahu Hoshea Ben Yosefa Bracha, Sarah Shoshana Bat Nami Rivka, Yael Bat Nami Rivka, Gittel Tamar Bat Miriam, Noah Baron. Viet Kolchim Bikila Kadosha Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem Vikilen Temple Beth Or Kadosh Bochim Malei Rachamim Malehim Lachzim Chapatam Vishlachlem Afor Shlim and Ashmat Nefesh Vudaguf Betok Shal Chale Israel Shabbatil Mizok Urfua Karova Lavashta Bagalav Zman Kari Venomar Amen. I wish I were for Shlema, a quick and complete healing upon all of those suffering. And that does include all of the injured in this horrible war that's going on in Israel and Gaza. We now rise to return the virtual Sefer Torah, page 183. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Ki niskav Shemo Levado, Hodo al Eretz V'Shamayim, Vayagen Keren Le'amo, Tehila Lecho, Chasidav, Livnei Yisrael, Am Karovo, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Mizmor LeDavid, Avu Ladonai B'nei Elim, Avu Ladonai Kavod Vos, Avu Ladonai Kavod Shemo, Ishtachavu Ladonai Behadrat Kodesh, Kol Adonai Al Hamayim, Ela Kavod Idim Adonai Al Mayim Rabim, Kol Adonai Ba'koach, Kol Adonai Be'adar, Kol Adonai Shover Arazim, Vaishabech Adonai Et Alzei Halvanon, Vayarkidem Kemo Egel, Lebanon B'Sirion Kemo Ben Remim, Kol Adonai Chotze Bavotesh, Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai Yechol El Ayalot, Vayachasot Yahavot, Uvehechalo Kulo Omer Kavod, Adonai Lama Bulya vayeshev Adonai melech le'olam. Adonai yaos li'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech et amho v'shalom. Page 184. Uvnucho yomar. Ki lekach tov natati lachem matorati al tazovu. Etz Ahayem lamachazikim ba v'tomchea meushar derachea darcheno am v'chol etivoteha shalom ashivenu Shuva Chadesh Ameinu Chadesh Ameinu Kekedem. You may be seated. Before I get yelled at, I need to move the cam back. There we go. On the streets of Novosibirsk, Siberia, an Asian-looking woman stops me and asks me what my nationality is. American, I told her. I was an American. Not blinking, she repeated her question. What nationality are you? I am an American. I drew out the sentence thinking she could not understand me. Actually, I spoke through a translator. After the third time she poked me with this question, my translator said she was asking if I was Jewish. I turned around and walked away. How absurd. My nationality is where I was born, in Baltimore, Maryland, United States of America. I am a red-blooded American, and my father was born here. My grandfather immigrated from the Pale of Settlement in today's Belarus. I am not Russian or Polish. Until I went to Novosibirsk in 2006, no one in my family, except for my grandparents, had been to that area of the world. I ask visiting groups not from the South how they identify themselves. They tell me they identify as Jews and then American. I ask Southern Jews how they define themselves. They invariably will say they identify as Southerners, then as Jews. In all fairness, I've had some people in this community say that is inaccurate. I challenge them on that. I think it's pretty safe to say that we Jews have an identity crisis. Who are we, after all? Are we religious or secular? Are we Orthodox, Reformed, Conservative, Conservadox? Are we American or Israeli Jews? Or are we Jewish Americans or Israelis? Are we Ashkenaz or Sephard? But don't think that this is a new syndrome. It's actually been with us since we became a nation. And it's epitomized by Yaakov, by Jacob, the true father of our people. Following his epic wrestling match in our Sedra, a new name is bestowed upon Yaakov. No longer shall your name be Yaakov, but rather Yisrael. For you have striven with God and man and prevailed. Fair enough. But then immediately after this blessing, the Torah calls Yisrael Yaakov. And he continues to be called Yaakov countless more times in the Tanakh. And we refer to him 3 times a day or more in the Amidah as Yaakov, as Jacob, not Yisrael. In fact, while we are all known collectively as Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel, the name Yaakov does not disappear. as did the name Avram. When he was changed to Avraham, we always call him Abraham. So that we possess not one, but two names. So what's going on here? Are we Yaakov, Yisrael, or both? We know that a person's inner essence, his soul, is indicated, if not determined, by his or her name. That is why the word Shem, name, forms the inside of the word neshama, which is the soul. Yaakov's name literally means heel. Yaakov means heel, as he hung on to his brother Esau's heel at birth. But heel has a less than complimentary connotation. Because it is a hidden part of the body, it connects to secrecy or subterfuge. In more common usage, it refers to one who acts in underhanded or odious fashion. A heel is a rather unsavory character. Now, Yaakov is meant to be a man of truth. He is the patriarch who most represents Torah, which is called Torah Emet, the Torah of truth. He even tells his mother, Anochi ish chalak, I am straight and honest. And yet he is continually involved in one shady deal after another. The birthright, the switching of his wives, the abduction of Dinah, his daughter, and massacre of Shechem, the kidnapping of Joseph. The angel blesses him and tells him he is Yisrael, a name that contains within it the word Yashar, which means straight, forthright, decent. But Yaakov will struggle all his life to come to grips with having to choose between doing that which is completely above board and that which he deems necessary in order to survive the many challenging trials that come his way. He will aspire to be Yisrael, but yet retains his persona of Yaakov. To this day, we wage the very same battle that Yaakov or Yisrael waged. The world has made Jew a pejorative term, not a compliment. That, by the way, the word Jew comes from the Greek name for Yehudah, the fourth son of Jacob, who is the only remaining tribe, because the 10 tribes in the north were destroyed. We have Yehudah. Yehudah, when it's translated into Greek, becomes Judah, Judah. Okay, the Romans later on, the whole country is called the land of Judea. Okay, somehow the word Jew came out of that, and that's where it comes from. We are accused of taking others' land, of being clever, devious, connivers. Anti-Semitism, anti-Israel trope is rampant in this world. It's a big problem. Right-wing governments and dictators are holding sway. This should worry us all. I had a friend that I talked to about this. I'm trying to explain what anti-Semitism really is all about. And what I think it's all about is that's where the trouble starts, but it doesn't end there. It's going to end by gobbling up every other minority in this country, in this world. And it's rampant on our campuses, on our streets. I have never been afraid to be a Jew, to walk as a Jew. I'm starting to get that way because you just don't know who is going to take something they heard, and because now it's okay to send death threats to anyone if one person in this country has something to say bad about someone else. And there's a lot of stuff being said about Jews. So I am very afraid. And this should worry us all. I don't think Cossacks will be raiding our city anytime soon, but I don't really know. So what can we do to combat this rampant anti-Semitism? Let me share a popular story that is told among the Hasidim. In 1907, Rabbi Shalom Dov Ber of Lubavitch was staying in Würzburg, Germany, and a group of Hasidim came to spend a Shabbat with the Rebbe. The Rebbe prayed for many hours that Shabbat morning, as was his manner. In the meantime, the Hasidim recited Kiddush and consumed a quantity of l'chaims. Later, when the Rebbe had finished and they sat with him to the Shabbat meal, Reb Yosef Yuzik asked, Rebbe, what is a chassid? Replied the Rebbe, a chassid is a lamplighter. The lamplighter walks the streets carrying a flame at the end of a pole. He knows that the flame is not his, and he goes from lamp to set them alight. Ask Reb Yosef Yuzik, what if the lamp is in the desert? Then one must go and light it, said the Rebbe. And when one lights a lamp in the desert, the desolation of the desert becomes visible. The barren wilderness will then be ashamed before the burning lamp. Continued the chassid, what if the lamp is at sea? Then one must undress, dive into the sea, and go light the lamp. And this is a chassid? Rabbi Yosef Yuzik asked. For a long time the Rebbe thought, and he said, yes, this is a chassid. But Rebbe, I do not see the lamps. Answered the Rebbe, that is because you are not a lamplighter. How does one become a lamplighter? First, you must reject the evil within yourself. Start with yourself. Cleanse yourself. Refine yourself, and you will see the lamp within your fellow. When a person is himself coarse, God forbid, he sees coarseness. When a person is himself refined, he sees the refinement in others. Rabbi Yosef Yuzik then asked, is one to grab the other by the throat? Replied the Rebbe, by the throat, no. By the lapels, yes. The only thing we can change is ourselves. We should act as the Torah tells us as a holy people, for the Lord our God is holy. So what is my identity? What is my nationality? My loyalty is to the country of my birth, which is America. I am also loyal to the faith of my ancestors. Judaism gives me a recipe to live life not against the laws of my country, but augmenting those laws that I follow with a higher ideal. I set the bar higher because God wants me to be a lamplighter. And if I struggle sometimes between who I am and who I want to be, I just remember that Jacob's name was changed to Yisrael, which means anyone who has struggled with what is right and wrong and persevered to do the right thing. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Musa. Please rise. Page 185. We'll chant the first three brachot together, and then you may continue through page 192 with the final four brachot. Again, we begin together, 185. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Dovim V'Konei Hakol וזוכר חסדי אבות, ומביא גוי לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר, פקיד ומשיח ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, מפקד צבא. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיים את אימת הרב הושיע. משיב הרוח מוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. נעריצך ונקדישך, כסוד שיח שרפי קודש. המקדישים שמך בקודש, ככתוב היד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך על הארץ כבודו, כבודו מלא עולם, משורתיו שואלים זה לזה. איה מקום כבודו לעומתם. ברוך יאמרו, ברוך אדוני ממקומו, הו יפן ברחמים, ויחונם המייחדים שמו ערב בבוקר בכל יום תמיד. פעמיים באהבה, שמע אומרים, שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו, ישמיענו ברחמיו, שנית, 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 שנית לעיני כל חי, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהייך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושת נקדיש, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושת נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי המלך גדול, כי המלך גדול, וקדוש אתה, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושת נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. תקנת שבת, רצית חרבנותיך, ציווית. sit down when you are finished. And we will continue page 204. En Keloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kimokenu, en Kemoshienu, en Keloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kimokenu, en Kemoshienu, mi Keloheinu, mi Kadonenu, mi Kimokenu, mi Kemoshienu, en Keloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kemalkeinu, en Kemoshienu, no de Eloheinu, no de Ladunenu, no de Lemokenu, no de Lemoshienu, en Keloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kemalkeinu, en Kemoshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, en Keloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kemalkeinu, en Kemoshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, en Keloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kemalkeinu, en Kemoshienu, Atahu Shektiru, Avotenu lefanecha, et ketoret hasamim, en Keloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kemalkeinu, en Kemoshienu, en Keloheinu, en Kadonenu, en Kemalkeinu, en Kemoshienu. We rise, page 205, as the ark is open for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon, hakol atet kedula, liotzer bereshit, shelo asan kugoye haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishmachot hadama, shelo sam chelkeinu ka'en v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim, u'modim, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשה יקרא בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבי מרמים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אב זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבת אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ובארץ מתחת עינינו. אוקיי, נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו, ליבנה בדברי קודשך. כתוב בתורתך, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. This week we will observe yahrzeits for Free to Fast, Sam Schulman, Nell Katz-Bernstein, Mars Capuano, Norman Goldfield, Margaret Matthew, Lester Shapiro, Betty Sue Fretwell Stapp, Jenny Brenner, Lorraine Smith, Sadie G. Steinberg, Dora Kamhi, William Cohen, Asher Anshel Goldenberg, Sadie Hassan, Isaac Y. Allen, Bea Bitan, and Leon Capeluto. Those who mourn are those observing yahrzeit, page 207. Join me for the Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabba b'yoma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agalav izman kariv v'yimaru amen yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'elam omel maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudisha barichu Leilam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran b'yoma v'yimaru amen yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. O se shalom v'mamav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. You may be seated. Thank you for joining me, for joining us for Shabbat, Shabbat morning services. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did as well. Tonight, the Alabama Community Virtual Havdalah will meet at a new time at 6 p.m. If you come at our old time 7, we won't be there. So we will be at 6 p.m. Set your alarms. We're gonna be early now through the end of February, I believe. We should have changed the time a while ago, but hopefully we'll get more people. Maybe somebody will go, well, it's too early now. Before it was too late, now it's too early. So I don't know where the happy medium is. But those who have plans for Saturday night, you'll get to go an hour early now. Tomorrow morning, the religious school will meet here at Agudath, not at Temple Beth Or. And why? Because we're having the Hanukkah Hoopla tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. So come and have lunch. There will be a food and bake sale, pre-loved Judaica items for sale, cookie decorating station. We're going to play dreidel, I guess. Last but not least, Dahlia Road will be performing. Toria Stark and Miriam Wyman will perform here at our Hanukkah Hoopla, and they will be selling their first CD and T-shirts. So if you have a Dahlia Road T-shirt, go ahead and wear it. At 2 p.m., I'm sorry that if you hadn't heard by now, but Jimmy Smith passed away Wednesday night. His funeral will be tomorrow at 2 p.m. Visitation will start at 1 at Leak Memory. The chapel service will be at 2 p.m. Interment will follow in Greenwood Cemetery. Both of those services will be on Facebook Live at the Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem channel. There will be 5 Shiva minions, all at 6 p.m., beginning Sunday, ending Thursday night. And they will also, it's Facebook Live only. It's only on live stream. Only the family will be in person. So we give condolence to Linda Smith, their daughter Abby Smith, and of course their grandson CJ. Jimmy will be definitely missed. Monday and Thursday we have our morning minyan at 7:15 with breakfast following. And of course, Hanukkah starts this Thursday night. First night is Thursday night. There will be several observances of Hanukkah, unusual. The city, Montgomery City, will do a public candle lighting on Thursday. I do not know the time and place of that. You do? Across from City Hall. That makes sense, that little park there. That's great. And the Federation is organizing that. I think I have two other commitments. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there. And on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, I still don't know which it is. I think it's Monday. The Federation will be having a candle lighting for the Jewish community in the courtyard across the way. And do you know if that is Monday night or Tuesday? I think that's Monday night. Let me see. Hang on. I don't want to say it wrong. Is it Monday? Okay. Yeah. Okay, that sounds right. Anyway, so they're organizing that. That's going to be in combination with Chabad in Birmingham. So that should be interesting. And then on next Thursday night, with the last night of Hanukkah, Governor Ivey is inviting a invitation-only group to celebrate Hanukkah at the governor's mansion. They started doing that last year. It was mildly interesting. So Bruce Pearl will be leading all of that. So if you're a Bruce Pearl fan, then I don't think it's online, but it's unfortunate. He's an interesting guy. And let's see what else. I think that's it. And I'm going to be on vacation December 10th through the 17th. I'm actually going to the beach, and lo and behold, it's going to rain every day. And it's like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Restaurants are inside, and raining at the beach doesn't mean it's constant. It just rains and then it's not. So you have to wait till it stops. But I'm gonna have fun anyway. Okay, that's it. So page 211, we'll end our service with Adon Olam. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'ed Nasa V'Chetzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'Yachare Kichlot Hakol Levado Yimloch Nora V'Hu Aya V'Hu Oveh V'Hu Yiyeh B'Tifara V'Hu Yiyeh B'Tifara V'Hu Echad V'Yein Sheni L'Ham Shelo Le'Achbira Beli Reshit Beli Taklit V'Lo Ha'oz V'Ham Misra V'Lo Ha'oz V'Ham Misra V'Hu Eli V'Chai Go'ali V'Tzur Chevli B'Yetzara V'Hu Nisi Umanosli Minat Kosi B'Yom Mekra Minat Kosi B'Yom Mekra B'Yado Afkid Ruchi B'Yeit Isham V'Yaira V'Imaruchi Geviyati Adonai Li V'Lo Ira Adonai Li V'Lo Ira Shabbat Shalom.